What's going on YouTube? 0088 here, and I'm here to react and review to Deadpool 2. But the first thing is the reaction. I'm going to react to the first 10 years. I've been wanting to watch this, but I've waited to react to it because I can just tell this is going to be funny. And basically what is happening here is, from what I can see, is he's parodying Marvel's first 10 years. And you just know it's going to be hilarious because Marvel, they did their little featurettes. I know you've seen it.
I know that I'm proud of it. I know that we've done
everything we can. I really don't know how people are going to react to this thing.
It's nice to look at how the legacy is living on in these other movies and other filmmakers.
I don't think this has ever happened before in cinematic history, of all these different franchises colliding, and all these storylines that have started such a long time ago have all woven together.
Who the hell are you guys?
As the films have progressed with Civil War and now Infinity War, we're just going to continue to surprise people.
Where they just talk about the first 10 years of Marvel and Deadpool first 10. Anyway, let's just watch it. You know, you get it. Let's watch. It goes up. 2008. That's when MCU started.
What if we made a Deadpool movie? There's only a few of us back then, and looking back, we had no idea how big it would become. So innocent, and yet the momentum that it started.
Deadpool appears
that was not really what we had in mind. No, that didn't help things. It was more of a hell no, to be honest. I mean, we eventually stopped asking. We have no idea how that happened, but I promise you, I'm looking into it. But once the movie got greenlit, I went on a massive coke bender. So 2016, that's a little hazy for me. They tell me the movie did well, though. 10 years into it, Phase 1 has exceeded our wildest expectations. You know, if you told me back then that one movie would spawn an expansive 2-movie universe, I'd have said that you were
love how they're ripping Marvel.
But here we are, with actual actors, a moderate special effects budget, and several low-level X-Men. Not the big ones, though. We gotta save something for Phase 2.
Phase 2. That's the longest phase ever, Phase 1. That's hilarious. Little dig at Marvel's first 10 years. That is brilliant. That's how you do parody, man. Right, so anyway, I'm watching that a bit late because I'm about to do the Deadpool 2 review. I've already seen Deadpool 2. I saw Deadpool 2 like a couple of weeks ago now, so it's not too fresh in my head, but I remember enough of it, alright? And I'm going to start with my overall feelings. Just, Deadpool 2 was just a bit, I think I like the first one better, to be honest. I think I like the first one better, because the second one, I don't know what it was about it. I think maybe just right after Infinity War, I don't know, man. I liked it. I didn't hate it. I liked it. I didn't hate it. But let's go into it. Let's go into why. Into the characters first. Let's talk about one character that I hated in the film. It's this kid. That fat kid that the film kind of centered around. He was kind of the MacGuffin. He was the reason why Cable came back from the future. Deadpool was reluctantly trying to protect him or whatever. And he was just so annoying. Like, I can't remember his name. I'm not going to remember any names. It was 2 weeks ago. It's all hazy for me now. But that kid, is he from New Zealand? I think so. I think it's from the same place as Taika Waititi, because that's where he got his shine from Taika Waititi's movies. But yeah, he was just so annoying. His voice was irritating. He kept trying to be funny, but it wasn't funny. Like, I don't know if it's the actor's fault or the character or the writing, but maybe the actor might be better in more serious films. I don't know, because he wasn't funny to me. He irritated. He might be one of the main reasons why I didn't enjoy Deadpool 2 as much as I could have. Domino was alright. She was decent, though I still have an issue of why they didn't just paint her all white and have the black, you know, thing on her eye, like how she looks in the comics. Because I don't know what Domino's race is in the comics. Like, I don't know if she has a race, because she's literally white, like my shirt white, and she has a black, like pitch black eye patch in the comics. Some drawings of her look Asian. They should have probably cast an Asian girl and just painted her white, you know, like kind of like Gamora. I don't know why I didn't do that, but they just kind of did this. They just made a black girl. She's not even properly black. Like she's. If they're gonna do like they're inverted, they should have got a proper dark skin girl. But the actress Zazie, is it Zazie Banks or something like that? She was, or Zazie Beetz. She was pretty good anyway. But she didn't do too much for me in the film. One of the best characters in the film didn't have too much of a role because I was shocked like how much the X-Force died early. Like the whole X-Force they showed in the trailer was the trailer was good because it hid a lot of stuff. They did the opposite of what the Batman v Superman films did and didn't give it all away in the trailers. Because the X-Force in the film were nothing. They die in the first like 10 minutes. And if you didn't know, by the way, spoilers. Best character of X-Force, I don't even know if he's in the comic, probably not, was, I can't remember his name, he was in the trailer, the chubby guy just flies out, you know, he's just hilarious all the way through. He was one of the funniest characters. He was funny. Like, he didn't have no power, I just thought I'd sign up, and Deadpool's like, you're hired, I like it. So he was great. Even though he didn't have much of a role, they all died, the original X-Force, because the real X-Force were at the end of the film. I'll get into that. Cable. Thanos himself. I think Josh Brolin did a great job as Cable. He was surprisingly funny. He was badass. He had this cool voice. Sometimes he sounded just like Thanos. It was weird. I was shocked because I like the way Thanos sounded in Guardians of the Galaxy 1, and he was like, the only man I do not take seriously, boy, is you. Your politics bore me. Like they put some bass in his voice. That was the Thanos that I wanted to hear in Infinity War. But he sounded more. I guess with the getting rid of the blue eyes that he had from Guardians of the Galaxy and the helmet and taking off his armor, they wanted to humanize Thanos a bit in Infinity War. So you heard Josh Brolin's natural voice a bit more. But I thought they heightened Josh Brolin's voice up to make him sound deeper and scarier. To make him sound, you know, they must have done it a little bit. But then I heard in Deadpool 2, he has the exact same voice. So if Deadpool 2 ever merges with the MCU and they keep Ryan Reynolds and the other characters, and somehow Cable and Thanos ever come, I don't think it will ever happen, but somehow Cable and Thanos ever come across each other, there's going to be literally like, why do we have the same voice? Are we in the video game State of Decay? Like, anyway, State of Decay joke. Loads of characters have the same voices in that because it's randomly generated characters. But anyway, moving on. The only thing is, I didn't like, even though it was a funny joke, the way Deadpool kept reminding everyone that, like, oh, you're a lot shorter than you are in the comics. It did annoy me a little bit because I was like, oh my god, he really is shorter than he is in the comics. Cable's supposed to be huge in the comics, like, well, at least taller than Deadpool. And then there's actually one shot where the X-Force at the end of the film were walking towards the camera, and then Deadpool's literally taller than Josh Brolin. I was like, ugh. They could have at least like edited him to make him taller. I wouldn't have minded if Deadpool made a joke about that. That would have been funny. Like, you know, they've given you stilts, right, so you can appear taller than me. And he's like, what are you talking about? That would have been good. But yeah, I think despite them putting me off of Cable's height, Josh Brolin did a sick job as Cable. He was a good Cable. And of course, one of the biggest surprises in the whole film, the Juggernaut looking just like he does in the comics. It was awesome. And then there was a bit where the Juggernaut rips Deadpool in half, exactly like the Juggernauts in State of Decay 2. And I was like, again, with State of Decay 2, I've been playing. Check out my live stream of me playing State of Decay 2. I'm State of Decay 2 minded right now. I'm in a zombie zone. But yeah, Juggernaut ripped Deadpool in half, just like how they do in the State of Decay games. And I don't know, it just made me like, oh, that's really cool. There's Juggernaut as well. But yeah, Juggernaut's in the film, and it's awesome. It looks just like the comic. Then my sister said something interesting. She said it looks a bit fake. It looks a bit like CGI. The CGI could have been better on Juggernaut. But now I really want Deadpool 2 to join with the MCU, and this version of Deadpool with these characters. And because I don't feel like it's connected to the X-Men, they can get rid of the other X-Men, but have these characters from Deadpool's universe, and have Juggernaut and Hulk fight. I want to see it. Make it happen. Let them fight. Okay. And the story of the film, basically, Cable had to come back to kill that annoying kid, and Deadpool wasn't having it. And it had like a nice emotional core with Deadpool and his wife that died right at the beginning of the film. That was cool, but I feel like the emotional core of the first film was better. That's probably why I enjoyed the first film better. I feel like the humour in this film might have been... See, I'm not going to say it's Deadpool. You can't ever say the humour is too much. Though I did watch this really cool video. I can't remember who it was by now. But this video where this guy is a massive Deadpool fan. Like, he kept going on about how much he was a Deadpool fan in the video. And he was going on about how the game was just not Deadpool from the comics. The video game Deadpool. This is before the first... I think... Yeah, the game came out just before the first film even came out. And they just proper was just... It was just this stupid, crazy character. When actually, Deadpool in the comics has this really deep emotional core in him. He's actually joking around just to hide his pain. You know, so Deadpool has a lot of pain. He's actually quite more like a dark comedy character rather than just straight up comedy. So yeah, so that's probably, maybe that's why I enjoyed the first film better. The humour in this one was sometimes a bit but a lot of times it was really funny. Like, I don't mind how much humour there was. I just think I wish some of the jokes were a little bit more funny. They hit home a bit more. Yeah, so I wasn't that invested in the story too much because it might have been a bit too silly for me sometimes. I just didn't really care too much about the characters like Domino and stuff like that. I wasn't too into them. Like, I cared about Deadpool, cared about Cable, and that's pretty much it. The bad guy was lame in this film. It's that stupid kid. I hated him, I told you already, and some weird pervert man or something. But I guess that's not really important in this kind of film, like if you have a really deep bad guy or not. I think I like Francis a little bit better from the first film, even though he wasn't that great either. Speaking of the humour of this film, what I love right now is that there's a bit of politics going on. Like, there's people on the right of politics saying there's these subtle jokes against SJWs and stuff like that, and the film is subtly taking a piss out of SJWs, and then people on the left are saying the film's, well, not all people, you know, there's always someone on the left that has something to cry about, but people on the left are saying, oh, this film is like progressive and stuff. He talks about equality and talking about how it should be called X-Force instead of X-Men, but then like they don't realise it's actually taking a piss out of how they see all these petty things. Like, you can basically, the humour is so good in terms of making fun of the current political climate that you can't tell if it's on your side or if it's on the other side, you know. So I'm not really on any side. I feel like I like to think of I'm in the middle of all this politics crap, but it was funny for me to watch as someone that I feel like I'm in the middle, just to see how you can sort of interpret it any way you want of the way he's taking a piss out of current politics and agendas and identity politics and all that kind of stuff. So that was quite funny and relevant at the same time. That's how you do political humour. You just subtle little sprinkles. You can't tell what side it's on. So that was good. I like that. So one of the coolest things at the end was the after credit scenes. I'm surprised there wasn't one right after the credits. If there was, let me know, because my sister's seen it twice. I've seen it once, and the second time I was watching it with her, and she told me that there's nothing after right at the end of the credits. So we didn't wait around there for the proper end of the credits. She was sure there was nothing after the credit because she stayed in the first time she watched it. So we just left. But if there is and she missed something, let me know. But then the mid-credit scenes, there was quite a few of those, was Deadpool going back in time and correcting the universe, getting rid of the horrible Deadpool from the Wolverine Origins film, getting rid of Ryan Reynolds' bad movie, killing Ryan Reynolds for him reading a script for, what's it called, the Green Lantern movie, and just correcting some other stuff, timeline issues and things like that. And oh yeah, and I think he brought his girlfriend back to life, so all the people on the left that had something to complain about oh, there's a woman in the fridge, woman in the fridge is basically when you kill a female character, a female supporting character, to lift up the man. Like, that doesn't happen the other way around. if there's a female lead, the man will die too. Like, anyway, let's not get into all that. But yeah, so he brings her back to life at the end anyway. It's funny because people always complain that, oh, nobody ever dies in MCU films. But Deadpool 2 literally kills all these people and then brings them all back to, including the X-Force members that he didn't care about. Deadpool brings them all back to life, I'm pretty sure at the end. I can't remember if he brings them all. Yeah, he uses Cable's time jump thing. And Deadpool dies in it as well. And he brings them back to life. But yeah, so he corrects all the universe, almost makes the whole film not happen. Some of it happened, some of it didn't. Don't know how that works. Let's not even get into the time traveling crazy bullshit. So he's got his new X-Force members now at the end of the film. He's got Cable, Domino, Negasonic, Teenage Warhead, and Yukio, played by a different person. But then I don't get it. Like Deadpool is definitely set in modern day with all the technology and stuff. But then you have this cameo of the X-Men from the 80s with Cyclops, Jean Grey, and I don't think Jean Grey was there, you know, Sansa from Game of Thrones, but I saw Beast there, and all the characters from the X-Men of the 80s looking how they look in the 80s, but Deadpool's clearly set in 2018 or whatever, you can just tell. So it was just like, what kind of, I guess it's just a stupid cameo, don't take it too seriously, but while they've corrected their timeline in this film, they've also fucked it up with that cameo scene. But I just ignore that, because when Deadpool, and it will, join the MCU, they should just discount that, because those X-Men ain't going to come to the MCU, just Deadpool is, I think. Plus, are you telling me Colossus went from this big hunking, like, Russian dude to that skinny, shiny guy from the original X-Men films? Because the original X-Men films are the future, and the most recent X-Men films, and Dark Phoenix is coming out soon, is from the way in the 80s, and of that would mean Colossus and Deadpool and all them lot are in the 80s. Doesn't make any sense, so they correct the timeline, they fucked the timeline up. So that was a bit weird, but I think I'm taking that cameo a bit too seriously. Anyway, that's my review. Overall, I thought Deadpool 2 was fun, but it wasn't mind-blowing. I had a chance to see it twice, I didn't feel like seeing it twice, didn't want to see it twice. I think I enjoyed the first one better. I think they could have done better. I think maybe this film might have suffered from missing out on the director. Is it the director? I think he's the director of the first film. Tell me if I'm wrong. I can't remember the name of the director of the first film now. I'm not going to try and say who I think it is. But yeah, the first film, I think the partnership with Ryan Reynolds and that guy was better in the first film, because apparently he left for creative differences for the second film, and Ryan Reynolds took over a bit more. And maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe it didn't work. He needed someone else there as well. Obviously Ryan Reynolds didn't do everything himself. There's obviously writers and all this other kind of stuff, and another director and all that. But yeah, I think I enjoyed the first one better, but it was still a good watch. I still had fun. I'd recommend it, but let's hope X-Force is a lot better and more funny, more clever humour. And some of the humour was clever in this, but could have been better. But yeah, that's my review of Deadpool 2 and my reaction to Deadpool 2 the first 10 years, because I had to check that out. If you liked it, give me a like, subscribe, and oh yeah, check out my video on how I would bring the X-Men and the Fantastic Four into the MCU. I'll go on a bit about Deadpool and that as well. So check it out. Should be up on the screen now at some point. And then you click on it and you watch it, because it's a fun video. Like it, comment, and subscribe on that video. And subscribe because of this video. Hit the notification bell and get notifications, because YouTube's a bitch and it doesn't ever work properly. Anyway, I'll see you in my next video. Peace!